I guess I want to talk about underground bunkers today. Let's be clear first, it's always safer to just use a ship, but sometimes maybe you want to use underground bunker, maybe for the fact that you can use wind turbine or something else, because underground bunkers do have certain advantage compared to ships in space. Alright, so let's talk about what you need to do to make your underground bunker safe or as safe as possible from raiders. First is that you need to be at least 2 kilometers underground so that enemy turrets cannot detect you from 2 kilometers on the surface. And then, and this is like one of the most important things that I see a lot of people forget, your bunker needs to be either suspended with some structures like this or suspended using the turn to station feature. That way, there's almost no blind spot for your enemy to drill and then grind into your base. Because if they do drill downward like this, let's say they do find your bunker and then they drill downward, instead of finding your base wall which they can grind into, they will see this empty space where your turrets can hit them. And this is important to have in any underground bunker because otherwise it's gonna be very easy for your enemies to drill and then grind into your bunker. And another advantage of having a bunker like this instead of a ship in space is that it's harder to cheese. Because if you have built it properly, it's gonna be very hard for your enemy to hydroman around because there's limited space for maneuvering, and not to mention your enemy is gonna be using a lot of more fuel compared to in space. And it's gonna be a lot harder to launch missile into an underground bunker like this because in space all you need is a thruster with some heavy armor blocks in front of it and you get yourself a missile. If you find a ship that is parked in an underground bunker like this, it's gonna be harder to do something like that. A thing to consider though is that in the underground like this, you won't be finding any ore because all the ores spawn near the surface. So to get yourself some ores and to export some ores as well that you have dug down here, you need a tunnel out. And you shouldn't be using connectors and conveyors to bring materials in and out because that's gonna take a lot of PCO and it's gonna make it easier for your enemy to find your bunker because they can target the connector using their turret. So what you wanna do is you want a tunnel like this that is big enough for a small ship, but then at the exit you want to make sure that your exit is horizontal and not vertical because that's gonna make it harder for your bunker to be found from space and just from the sky in general. It's gonna be a lot harder for the entrance to be found by your enemies. So yeah, that's how you make an underground bunker that is as safe as possible from raiding.
Fuel critical.